So it's January 2021. We're starting off with a new year, new resolutions, and a new series here on Let Me Be Critic. It took a long time for me to figure out what kind of series that I wanted to make. Should I do something I like? Should I do something I don't like? Should I talk about movies I hate? Should I talk about movies I love? Then I realized I want to talk about stuff that's not good, that's not great, that's not terrible. I specifically want to talk about what's weird. So this is my new series, Weird Stuff on Streaming. And we're going to start off with weird stuff on Disney Plus. I'm going deep. I'm going through the treasure chest of Disney Plus, and I'm pulling out the highest grossing movie of 1987. That's right, we're talking Three Men and a Baby. Starring Ted Danson, Tom Selleck, and Steve Guttenberg. Three huge megastars that would go on to make such great classic films as Getting Even with Dad, Mr. Baseball, and The Tower of Terror. Why is Three Men and a Baby on Disney Plus, you ask? Well, it is a Touchstone Pictures film, which is owned by Disney. You'd think that they'd be talking this movie up a lot more, seeing as it was a very high-grossing film. It did very well. It was loved at the time. It was very big on video. It made much bigger stars out of the already big stars that were Danson, Guttenberg, and Selleck. And it was about three men and a baby. Who doesn't love that? Well, let's get into it. So right off the bat, we open with a Leonard Nimoy film. Spock made this movie.
I have been, and always shall be, your friend.
Getting a headache, giving me a headache. How about this? How about this? Look at this. Look at a hairy chest. You like that? You like that? You want one of these?
I can't really do this intro justice, so I'm just going to show it to you. Yeah, so I just have a few questions. Oh no, that's later. I covered that. All right. Okay, question one. What the fuck is that mural? What? It looks like it's for a children's bedroom. It's the front of their house, and all these women just seem completely fine with this children's mural in the front of their apartment. Next question, is this a prequel to Friends? Is this about Richard's life before he got married, and this was him as a bachelor living with Ted Danson and Steve Guttenberg? Yeah, they're characters. They're really just Tom Selleck, Ted Danson, and Steve Guttenberg, I think. Number three, how does Spock fit into this equation? Is this what Spock does when he's alone on the ship? He's thinking about ideas for a movie about three horny men with a baby? Okay, moving on. We don't got all day.
Welcome to another edition of Lifestyles of the Average and Anxious.
No, Steve. Nothing about this is average. This is average if you're the actual Ted Danson, Steve Guttenberg, and Tom Selleck. If you're these real guys, this is probably just a Tuesday for you in the 80s. This is probably just a normal day. Ted Danson just walks out of his bedroom and there's hundreds of people around. They're just hanging out. They're not characters. They're just three rich dudes. You live in a penthouse. Even in Friends, they didn't live in a penthouse. Barney Stinson, who's supposed to be so rich that you don't even realize how rich he is, doesn't even live in a penthouse in the city.
Whew, Angela, whew. Oh, you look different. What happened?
I'm dressed.
That's it.
Yeah, the 80s are weird. So if you haven't figured it out by now, by the opening 10 minutes of this movie, these three men are a group of horn dogs.
Thank you, Rebecca!
You're welcome, Michael.
So, kids film in the 80s, obviously, Tom Selleck's in an open relationship that they openly talk about throughout the film.
So, Peter, tell me, are you and Rebecca still exclusive?
Me and Rebecca?
Yeah.
No, we both see other people.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Oh.
a lot.
Oh, that's nice to know.
I thought open relationships were only saved for the elites, like the Smith family. More proof that they are anything but average.
Welcome to another edition of Lifestyles of the Average and Anxious!
So this tiny fella comes in, asks Ted Danson if he can have a package dropped off at the house. Danson says yes, but he's also leaving that very night to go to Turkey to shoot a movie, so he leaves a message for the guys to take care of the package. Obviously, the next scene is Tom Selleck coming home from a run, saying hi to their bellhop.
Welcome to another edition of Lifestyles of the Average and Anxious!
He gets to the front door, and what's that?
That's a baby.
Oh, I know, it's a baby. What's it doing there?
It's sleeping.
So there's a note that claims this is Ted Danson's baby, so obviously they assume this is the package that he was talking about.
He said to put it aside, not to worry about it.
He said that about a baby?
I'd say he takes his procreation business a little lightly.
So what are we supposed to do about this?
And pick it up.
You pick it up.
I'm not picking it up.
You found it.
See, this is funny because they're horn dogs and they don't know nothing about raising no babies.
I mean, we were babies once, for God's sakes. What did we eat?
I don't know. It couldn't have been very good. I can't remember.
So this is the first time I'm going to say it. This is too much like Full House. This came out the same year that Full House did. They came out within a few months of each other, and it's crazy how similar the two are. So when the package actually comes, they throw it away because baby crying. I love that when they have to change the diaper, Tom Selleck gets prepped like he's ready to defuse a bomb. Selleck tries to get help from his girlfriend, but she's too busy trying to ride this foreign cellist that she brought to his apartment just to rub his face in it, and she can't help because babies are hard. Two men arrive to pick up the package, and they chastise them for leaving them with this baby, and they hand the baby over to clearly, obviously, totally not drug dealers. The two dunderheads find the real package of drugs and attempt to switch them with the obviously not drug dealers. But unfortunately, Magnum PI trips and knocks the drugs out of the package, and instead of trying to talk to the men, he tries to steal the baby back while they're in the process of putting the baby in the trunk, because in the 80s, no one knew how to deal with babies. A cop arrives on horseback, the men leave, and Selleck brings the cop upstairs, and he has the drugs on him at the time. Now we get the fun game. Let's hide the drugs from the cops. Just as the cop's leaving, a narcotics detective shows up that happened to be trailing the drug dealers and doesn't care about the drug dealers anymore, only cares about Tom Selleck and the baby. The detective tells us that tiny fella is a drug smuggler. I love how three horny men trying to take care of a baby wasn't enough, so they had to add drug dealers and the NYPD suspecting them of being career criminals. That's another thing. We're about halfway through this movie, and so far, I've only seen two men with a baby. I was promised three men and a baby, and I'm pretty fucking pissed.
Worlds are colliding! George is getting upset!
As the police follow Tom Selleck throughout the city, only for the house to be ransacked and the baby was stolen. Oh wait, she's fine, never mind, the rest doesn't matter. Doesn't matter if the house is ransacked. They're going to leave the house ransacked throughout most of the rest of the movie. You're going to go through different scenes, and there'll be things tipped over or knocked. They didn't clean. They didn't care. It's the 80s. They're super fucking rich. They live in this penthouse. There was a woman taking care of the baby. She was tied up. They didn't care about her. They only cared about the baby that they hated, the baby they were going to give to drug dealers. Highest grossing film of 1987. If the cops really thought that these guys were people of interest, why were they just following Tom Selleck around? Wouldn't they have a cop stationed at the apartment so that way if the drug dealers that they know where they live decide to come back, they're there and they can catch them? But no, it's the 80s. People don't do that. They got two cops. They got to do the whole city. No. Let's just harass the men that are bringing around a baby because obviously they're career criminals. You know what? That's the only thing that makes sense of why they could afford this penthouse. So maybe they are career criminals. Maybe they are drug dealers.
Welcome to another edition of Lifestyles of the Average and Anxious.
An intruder breaks in and Magnum jumps into action, but it's poor Ted Danson. Yay, we finally did it! 3 men and a baby! An hour into an hour-and-a-half movie!
And she was leaving it here for you to deal with it.
Mine?
Then along comes another little package with your name on it, only this time the package has heroin in it, and the narcotics squad permanently camped downstairs knows all about it.
The cops? I don't believe this. I don't know anything about any drugs or any police.
Ted Danson won't admit the baby's his until he reads the note and instantly realizes he's the father. It's so quick. It's so quick from, no, this isn't my baby, to, oh my God, this is my baby.
I was doing Taming of the Shrew. She was the shrew. I mean, I did some of my best work in that. I got great reviews.
So far, I feel like the moral of the story is kids are hard and they ruin your life, so it's a good idea to put that burden off onto someone else and run away.
He's not on the silk sheets, not on the silk sheets. Please, please.
Maybe I should show him how to put on the diaper.
No? Let's give him another half hour.
Let him suffer.
Ted Danson's a really good father, guys.
Right. Heroin's in the diaper pail. Baby wipes are in the cabinet. Where else would they be?
Danson calls his mom, and we get the infamous Ghost Boy scene. So for those who don't know, it was very famous when this film came out on video that there was, in this specific scene, the ghost of the boy who lived in this apartment, but that boy died, and now he haunts this apartment. And you could see him in the corner, and you can see something. It's very clearly a stand-in of Ted Danson, but at the time when you were looking at this in the late 80s, off of a late 80s TV on a VHS, I'm sure it was a lot harder to make that out. Then Tom Selleck came out and said that they filmed this on a soundstage, and there was no apartment, which, if you watch this movie, there's no possible way that this penthouse is real. Have you watched this movie? It's completely ridiculous. Yeah, I get it. Tom Selleck's an architect, so he designs rooms. He built this whole place. It doesn't make any sense. It wouldn't fit on a floor plan in a city penthouse. It doesn't matter. They would have to be career heroin dealers, so maybe this movie's actually making a lot more sense. Selleck and Guttenberg go out to a night at the opera, but get so worried about the baby, they leave the ladies and go straight home. The girls are mad, and Selleck's girlfriend makes one of the dumbest remarks in the whole movie up to this point.
Are they always this strange? Yes. Since they got involved with another woman.
It's a baby! You know it's a baby, you've met the baby, you refuse to help with the baby because you were trying to get digged down by a goddamn cellist. Even if it was another woman, you're in an open relationship. You've made that evidently clear throughout the entire movie. So why would you even care if there is another woman involved? And you know it's a baby! You wanted nothing to do with the baby, yet you're still complaining about the baby. This is why you get cut out for 3 men and a little lady. Okay, so now Ted Danson's a woman. This whole third act is crazier than the previous acts combined. The drug dealers are after them, and they apparently have a plan to get these guys. And apparently that plan is Ted Danson pretending to be a pregnant woman. Okay. They also don't know the cops are following them, although they do know because they switched the cab they're in with another cab, which is driven by Ted Danson, who has the baby with them. Where'd he get the taxi from? Why'd they need a taxi? Why do you have to dress up like a woman? Did he have to dress up like a woman to get the taxi? Did they steal the taxi? Because now they got a lot more trouble than just this whole drug deal thing. You stole a commercial vehicle. Has Ted Danson been a taxi driver this whole time? I never heard them say it. So they stole a car to meet up with drug dealers, but then Danson calls the cops, who they just lost, so why did you have to go through all that if you're gonna call the cops anyway? Just as the dealers arrive, Danson has to change the baby's diaper. Not really sure why you had to bring the baby in the first place, Ted. There's no way the baby could be in any more peril than bringing her to a supposed drug deal. Yeah, it's gonna be a sting operation. You don't bring a baby to a sting operation. This is why you guys can't be parents. So their big wild plan is to do a drug deal in Tom Selleck's construction site. So he brings drug dealers to his place of work. So Steve Guttenberg is hiding an event filming this drug deal, which would have went great if he wasn't hiding in an obviously fake vent and tips it over so they know exactly who they are and what's going on. We're now in some weird elevator chase while Becker fails at hitting a simple switch, and that's it. He hits the right switch, they stop the drug dealers, the detectives arrive, and they act like it's not really that big of a deal, and they don't really care, and they gave him the evidence, and that's it.
Hey! Oh, thanks for the phone call.
Well, actually, it was Peter's idea. Hi, guys. She's okay. She's okay.
Hello, Sergeant. The guys you want are in that elevator.
The drugs are up there, too. Everything you need to know is right here.
It's very illuminating.
Oh, thanks. Thanks a lot. If I have any questions, I know where to reach you guys. Yeah. Okay, fellas.
Let's get
They don't bring up the car thing. They don't care that they were in possession of drugs. They just got mixed up in all this. The cops don't bring them down to questioning. They're just like, yeah, well, we know where you live. Can I hold the baby? Tom Selleck says no, and that's it. That whole thing's resolved. Never comes up again. You would think the movie's over. But now we're getting another big Horndog montage, but with a baby now. See, they have been able to master getting laid and being successful and baby. See, now that they have mastered baby, anything is possible.
Good night, sweetheart. Well, it's time to go. Do, 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 do. I hate to leave you, but I really must say.
Now this is literally Full House, but with more sex.
You love me,
Okay, so Tom Selleck's girlfriend's back. She's sitting in bed, post-coitus, again doing literally nothing to help with the baby. I don't understand this woman. Is she unhappy about the baby? Is she happy about the baby? What is her deal? This is why he left her for Monica. So the next morning, Sylvia, the mother of the baby, arrives for her, and I'm gonna get through this part pretty fast because I think you know exactly what's gonna happen. Mom comes to get her daughter. The boys are very upset because they can't imagine their lives without baby, and just as they let her go, they decide they can't live without baby. They montage their way to the airport only to just miss the plane. They sulk back to their place, and what? Mom and baby are waiting for them. The baby can move into their big-ass penthouse and start the hit show 3 Men, 1 Lady, and a Baby. Man, that house seems pretty full. The movie ends with a new mural, who knows how long that took, and the 4 parents go out, the yuppie assholes that they are, taking up the entire street in New York City. The end. So that's been 3 Men and a Baby. Highest grossing film of 1987. Highest grossing film. I can see where this film was popular in the late 80s and would become such a big hit because, oh, Magnum P.I. and Sam from Cheers. That was Ted Danson's character's name, right? I know Becker, but I don't remember his character from Cheers. Sam, I think it was Sam. Yeah, it's like, oh, it's Sam, and the dude from Cocoon, they got a baby. And they want to remake this now with Zac Efron, and I don't know if you can remake this in this day and age, but I kind of want to see them try. I don't hate this movie. I kind of would recommend it. Like I said, it's on Disney Plus because that's what I'm covering. I'm covering the weird shit, and this is definitely one of the weirdest films that I've watched this year. We're like 5 days into January. I guess I haven't watched that much weird shit yet. All right, guys, that's my video. Please make sure to subscribe. Put in the comments what other weird things on Disney Plus you'd like to see me analyze, and I'll see you next time for another video.